What's going on? Welcome to today's video where we take a look at Death's Crystal Mountain, and we're going to deconstruct the theory behind the solo and the riffs. Check it out. So, first and foremost, we are going to be tuned down a whole step in the key of D minor. So we're tuned to D standard tuning, and so here are the scales that are used within the song. The most important thing is they're all minor scales, and so there's a slight variation between them all. But the first one you should be familiar with is your natural minor, and that is the Aeolian shape or mode. And so your natural minor, starting from D. Actually, I'm going to refer to everything as E, because that's kind of what us guitar players do. So if we're in the 7th fret position on the 5th string, your E minor scale is going to be basically 1, 2, minor 3, 4, 5, minor 6, minor 7. So 1, 2, minor 3, 4, 5, minor 6, minor 7, back to your root. That is an octave. 8 notes. Okay, so what modes are is the next position up, starting on the next scale degree, or you can kind of base your tonal center around a certain sound. And so the Phrygian shape basically is your Aeolian or natural minor, but you flat the second note. So all you got to do is play the same scale you just did, but take that second note and move it down a half step. So here's Aeolian. Here is Phrygian. Alright, and so there's a couple exotic scales that are used in the Death catalog or Chuck style. This next one is the Phrygian Dominant. So building off of that Phrygian shape, you're going to have a major third now. So it's a flat 2 and a major 3 within your minor scale. There's also the Harmonic Minor scale, which is a minor scale, just like the first shape, Aeolian, but you have a major 7. And then if you combine all that together, you get a double harmonic scale, which is going to have the flat 2, the major 3, and the major 7. But the most important thing is to use your ears. They're basically all just minor scales with slight variations or altered notes in them. Alright, so let's get to the song. The first riff, there's a lot of tabs out there that start on the 2nd position or 2nd fret, and you're hitting this E chord, but you're adding the B below it. So that's adding the 5th note of your E chord or scale on the bottom side. I've studied the Chuck videos and live footage, and he actually plays that on the 7th fret of the 5th string. So they're very similar. I mean, either one works, but this is the way Chuck did it. So the riff, slowed down, goes, and you get this gallop in there. Jump down, 2nd fret. And so that's basically Phrygian, but you add a flat 5 in there. So what these numbers are all referring to are the intervals at which they happen within the key. And so a 5 in the key of E, so we're tuned down to D, but we're referring to it as E. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. A flat 5 sits right before it. So you're going. So that's the flat 5, the Black Sabbath note. Alright, and so that's the verse riff. Then it tops it off with this guitar lick. Or melody. And so, referring to the first part of the video, that scale that's going to be your Phrygian Dominant. And so, he harmonizes it in fifths. So just like we talked about, if you're trying to harmonize in fifths, you go up 5 scale degrees or notes above wherever you're trying to harmonize. Alright, so up on the top part of the neck, you're going to be on the 14th position. And so played together, that gives it that big open sound. Alright, and so that kicks off back into the verse, same riff. And then we have this clean guitar part. So the cool thing about this, you have this kind of clashing sound between the 5th fret on the 3rd string and the open 2nd string. That's actually what's referred to as a minor second. So just like Phrygian, it's a minor 2 or a flat 2. So what you're doing is you're hitting this open B string, pairing it with a C note on that 3rd string. So that creates that kind of tension there. So all he's doing right there is 3rd fret, 2nd finger. You leave open that 5th string. And then you flip-flop your fingers to this F power chord. And pair it with that open 4th string. Is that how it's done? So that is based off of Phrygian. Because you have that flat 2 up there. And then he's hitting this C sharp chord, but pairing that 5th on the bottom part of the chord. So it's actually 4th fret power chord on that 5th string, but add right below it. Jump down. And so that melody is played separately, but it's harmonized in fifths. So you go a 5th above. So it's the same as the first part of the melody, but now it's paired with the lower notes. F sharp chord. And then you jump up to here, C sharp, and you come down a half step. Back into the verse. So after that happens, here's the big guitar melody hook of the song into the chorus. Alright, so that is basically it's going to be your A minor scale. So you're starting on the 12th fret of the 5th string. That's your root note is A. So the A minor scale is just those are the notes that are used. He just skips over that 7th and goes and the riff below that is alright, one more time. 5th fret or 5th position bottom string, that's A. 8, 8. And then they meet back up in the middle. And so that's really cool because you're pedaling off that open 5th string, or that A. So you can get some pretty cool things by using that open string in there. So if you were to stack that above, it gets this kind of really big power chord sound. It's like stacking 5ths. Alright, so that's the chorus. That goes right into so that's using your E Phrygian Dominant scale, where you have the 1, flat 2, major 3, 4, and then 5. So the first half of the harmony is done in 5ths. Once you hit that 1st fret F chord, the harmony goes up into octaves. So what an octave is you're just starting with the same notes, just 8 steps higher. So you take that E, and then it goes. So while this first guitar is playing down here on this 3rd string 9th fret position, guitar 2 is doing 5ths and then octaves. So the 5ths, you're going to start on the 16th fret, 3rd string, and then after that big F minor chord, that's going to be 16th fret on the high E string. Alright, so what's going on here is we got heavy palm muting, slight bit of a phaser effect on some of those chords. So hitting your root right there at the 7th fret. It's a combination of notes. It doesn't really matter trying to identify a key, but the riff broken down is, you can think of it as you're starting on that D, and then you have these power chords. So it's kind of like trapped in a corner almost. So you're going between A and B flat. And so that's just next up we have the harmonized tapping, which is awesome. It starts on the low side of the harmony, 5th position. You're going to work your way through this E minor scale while tapping up on the 12th fret. And so for the upper harmony, what you're going to do is take that and go a 5th above, or 5 steps. So from your 5th fret, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you're going to land on the 12th fret position, do the same pattern. So the shape without the tapping goes. And so here we are at the solo. The rhythm behind the solo, so we're switching keys to the 4th fret. That puts us in G sharp minor. So that's the rhythm behind it. You got G sharp, D sharp, A, E, B, E, D sharp. Alright, so here's the solo up to speed, and then we're going to break down what's going on. So first up, we're going to be on this 11th fret. That's your G sharp on the 5th string. And this solo is pretty much based within just Aeolian. So it's pretty inside the box. So you're walking up your scale. Start on the next note or interval. One more time. And then you're going to slide in. And so he has this pattern where you jump so you can keep using your 1st, 3rd, and 4th finger, or 1st, 2nd, 3rd. So it's not running straight through the scale, you're skipping this guy right here, your F sharp, which is the 7th in the key of G sharp minor. And so Chuck, he would take the scales and kind of go full tilt and just shred through them. So for the next part, what you're going to do is you're going to walk up the scale. But you're going to pair those notes with whole bends. So it's your root, your 1, 2, and 3. So to get that clashing sound, what you got to do is plant your finger on your root note. You take your 3rd finger and hopefully your 2nd paired with it to give it a little more strength during your vibrato. And you want to bend it just right about up to pitch. But you give it a little bit of vibrato so you get that clashing sound. Alright, so slow down right there. It's going to be 16 and 19. And then you're going to walk down or shred down just like the lick before. What you're going to do. So as long as you're just kind of moving along, you got to move a whole step to keep that shape. Then from that note, you're going to pull off. So you're going to be over the 14th fret. Slide up to 19. And the last part, which was awesome about Chuck's playing, is he would throw in these very memorable melody lines. So that's the same scale. And you end right on that 2. And that leads you right back into the rest of the song, and it just finishes itself out by repeating through. So there's a breakdown of Crystal Mountain. Basically, we have 3 different keys we're going over: E, A, and G sharp, and various minor scales, which is Aeolian, Phrygian, Phrygian Dominant, Harmonic Minor, and your double harmonic scale. Don't worry about all those names. It's just basically the same difference. Just a couple notes here and there are altered. So hopefully you enjoyed this video. Subscribe for more shred content. I'm going to be doing a series of death songs. So if there's a certain song you would like to see deconstructed, comment below, send me a message, and let's get some more death music out into the world.